It is finally the start of a new year, which means it's time for New Year's resolutions, and you're finally going to be changing your life. You're going to lose those 20 pounds, finally learn web development, get that new job, or whatever it is you've been wanting to do. But what is it that makes this year different? Last year, you told yourself the exact same thing and you never actually made any progress. So why is this year going to be different? It's not, unless you actually make a change. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 reasons why you always fail your New Year's resolutions and what you can actually do instead to make sure you succeed and better your life. Welcome back to Web Dev Simplified. My name's Kyle and my job is to simplify the web for you so you can start building your dream project sooner, but this video isn't really about that. I actually almost didn't even make this video at all because originally it started just as an email to my newsletter, and if you want to get some of this more behind the scenes content, I highly recommend subscribing to my newsletter. I'll add a link in the description where you can do that. But it started out just as an email to my newsletter and it became rather lengthy, as you can see over on the side here, and I still wasn't going to make it into a YouTube video until I actually started getting responses from people. So many people were emailing me back after I sent out that newsletter saying how it really helped to reshape their mindset going into New Year's and really helped them to actually make better goals for their New Year's resolutions. So I figured I needed to turn this into a video to get it even more attention and hopefully help more people. So I want to talk about the 3 things you're doing wrong with New Year's resolutions. And the very first one is going to be that New Year's isn't anything special. New Year's is just a day. The only reason we actually give it any significant meaning is because that is the day at which we go from one year to the next year. But this whole idea of changing from one year to the next year is something that happens all the time, just on different scales. For example, every single quarter, we change to a new quarter. Every single month, we change to a new month. Every day is a new day. Every hour is a new hour, and so on. But we didn't decide that days are significant enough to actually make a new day, or hours or quarters. We decided that years is the best time frame to set these goals. And it makes a lot of sense because years are a rather lengthy time frame, while 1 hour is obviously not very long. So if you set brand new goals every hour, obviously you wouldn't have enough time to complete them. But a year gives you a lot of time to be able to complete all of the stuff you want to do. But if that's the case, why don't we have like a new decade or a new century? Because obviously a decade is a much longer period of time. So at 2020 and 2030, we could start a new decade and make really amazing goals for ourselves. The reason we don't do that is because we know it's stupid. If we're in 2021, why would we wait 9 years to change our lives? That doesn't make any sense at all. It's just way too long of a time to wait. But if you're, for example, in April or May of the year, it makes a lot of sense to be like, you know what? Next year I'm going to change my life because next year doesn't seem that far away. So you're okay with waiting a few months to actually change your life. But again, that is a stupid idea. If you really want to change your life, waiting 6, 7, 8, 9 months to be able to start that change is a terrible idea. The most important thing to realize about New Year's is not special. There's no certain day that is the best time to actually make a change in your life. The best time to start making changes in your life is yesterday. And obviously, since I don't have a time machine to go back in time, the second best time is going to be right now. The reason though that most of us don't actually start making changes with our lives right now is because right now is not perfect. You know, I'm kind of busy at work, or I have this side project I'm working on, or you know what, I really have a lot of stuff going on mentally. Now is just not the best time to make a change. I'll make that change next week. Next week rolls around and you know what, I'm really busy with soccer practice and I got work and you know what, let's do next week. And you just keep doing that to yourself over and over and over again until eventually you get to New Year's because that's some special day that, okay, this is a great day to make a change. The important thing that you need to realize though is there's no perfect time to make a change. You just need to decide, you know what, now kind of sucks, it's really tough, things are going on, but I'm going to make that change now because my life is important. Now I know this sounds really easy to do, but it's very difficult. I even struggle with this all the time. For example, the last 2 months, I've been wanting to start tracking my time based on what I work on in my business to figure out what I spend more time on and less time on, to figure out maybe where I can delegate certain things or what I can actually cut out of my business or maybe what I should add to. But I haven't even tracked a single minute of my time in the last 2 months. And the reason for that is because I kept telling myself, this week isn't perfect, I'll do it next week. You know what, I'm out of work one day this week, so my tracking will be messed up, I'll start tracking next week. Or you know what, I'm kind of sick, I took a half day today, I'll start tracking next week. And I pushed off for 2 full months until finally this week I just said, you know what, this week isn't perfect, I still had a half day this week, it doesn't really matter, I'm just gonna start tracking right now because no week is going to be perfect. Now, the second main reason that you fail your New Year's resolutions is because you suck at estimation. And this isn't just a you problem, this is a human problem. Imagine, for example, your boss comes to you and tells you, hey, You have this project you need to work on. How long do you think it'll take? And you do some mental math and you're like, okay, this project is probably going to take me about 40 hours. I work 8 hours a day. So you know what? I can get that project done in 5 days. And then right before you tell your boss that, you remember, you know what? Humans suck at estimating. Let me add 2 more days. And you tell your boss, I'll get that done in 7 days. So you go to work, very first day, you get 8 solid hours of work done. And you're like, man, I'm so far ahead of schedule. This is great. Second day rolls around and you remember, oh crap, I actually need to do this additional thing to make this project work. And that's going to add like 6 hours of work. But you know what? I budgeted that time because I'm really smart. So I am still ahead of schedule because I got 8 hours of work done today. Next day you go into work and you have tons of meetings, and then you finally start to actually work on the project, and every time you start to write code, you realize that something else is broken and you're constantly fighting things, and you spent 4 hours on the project, but none of that work actually made any progress. Then you go into work the next day and you're not feeling very good, you're kind of mentally fatigued, and you just have a hard time getting really good concentration done, so the amount of work you get done is nowhere near 8 hours. And then on the 5th day, when you're working on the project, you realize, holy crap, I messed something up completely at the very beginning, and now I have to completely start from scratch. It isn't until the 14th day that you finally get this project done, and that was double what your estimate was, and 3 times the estimate if you didn't add in those extra bonus days. So even though you mentally prepared for the fact that you suck at estimating, you still underestimated by far how much work something would take. And that's because almost always you're going to be optimistic about how much work you can get done. You noticed in my estimation, I said I work 8 hours a day, so I can get 8 hours of good quality work done. But nobody can get that level of work done every single day. If you normally work 8 hours in the day, there's going to be some days where you have to work less. Maybe you're sick. Maybe you're just not mentally there. You're just not able to get all the work done. Maybe you have a lot of meetings. It doesn't matter what it is. There are going to be days that are less than perfect. And if you only estimate based on perfect days, you're going to be way off on your estimations. On top of that, there are going to be tons of roadblocks that come up that prevent you from making further progress. Whether that's going to be adding new things on that you forgot about, or maybe there's going to be new requirements that happen, whatever it is, there are going to be roadblocks you hit that add extra work onto your estimation. And the reason I'm talking all about this estimation stuff is because if you have a hard time estimating something on a scale of 1 to 2 weeks, how can you possibly estimate how much progress you're going to make in an entire year? That is such a long time frame that it's impossible to make an accurate estimate, and most likely what you're going to do is you're going to overestimate how much work you can actually get done in that 1 year. So let's say that your goal is to actually lose weight this year. You may start out losing a pretty good amount of weight, but as you start to lose more and more weight, you'll lose weight less quickly. That's just how it works. And you may start to get discouraged because you thought you were going to lose a ton of weight, but you're realizing that as you're getting closer to that goal and you're starting to run into roadblocks, like maybe Thanksgiving comes around and you eat too much and you gained some weight and all these different things happen, you realize it's impossible for you to hit your goal, and that makes you want to give up. This is why when it comes to making New Year's resolutions, I think it's really important not to set super strict goals that have these really hard set deadlines and numbers that you want to accomplish, because like I said, it's impossible to estimate what you can get done in a year, and instead you should make your goal as easy as possible to accomplish while still giving the goal of actually transforming your life. And this leads perfectly into the third point of how you actually fail at New Year's, and that's because SMART goals are dumb. And that is all capitals, the acronym SMART goals. This is a really common goal setting methodology that a lot of people use and a lot of people say is a great way to set goals. But when it comes to New Year's resolutions, this is really just setting you up for failure. And SMART goals stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relatable, and time bound. Essentially, a specific goal is going to be a goal that has specific numbers inside of it. For example, I want to lose 20 pounds and go to the gym 3 days a week for the entire year. That's a very specific goal. It's also measurable because we have numbers. I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, that's great. And I want to go to the gym 3 days a week. You can really easily check, did I lose 20 pounds? Did I go to the gym 3 days this week? Now, the achievable goal is a little bit of a harder one to estimate, especially because, as I mentioned, it's hard to estimate. But for this particular goal, losing 20 pounds over the course of a year if you're overweight is really not super far-fetched. Then is this a relatable goal? Obviously, if you're setting the goal, it's most likely relatable to you, which is what matters. And then time bound. Obviously, a New Year's resolution is time bound by the fact that it is 1 year. So really the parts that I don't like about this methodology when it comes to New Year's resolutions is the specific and measurable section. I don't want you to create a really hard and fast deadline on the specific rules and everything you want to make around your goal. Making it too specific and measurable like this makes it really easy to get discouraged. Let's say, for example, you start going to the gym and you're going really consistently for 2-3 months and you're losing weight at a rather consistent rate. For example, you're losing maybe half a pound every week or so, which is well faster than you need to actually lose weight in order to reach your 20-pound goal. And you're going to the gym 3 days a week super consistently, and it's been great for 3 months. But now let's say, you get a little bit busy, you're not able to actually go to the gym 3 days a week because just something happens, or maybe you go on vacation and maybe your weight loss doesn't keep up at that 0.5 pounds a week, and instead you gained a little bit of weight because you went on vacation. Immediately you look at that as a failure. Instead of saying, I spent 3 months achieving my goal, you say, I failed. And that's the only thing that you focus on. And by having these goals that are very specific and very measurable, it's really easy to focus on the failures instead of on the successes. And it could become very demotivating because if you, for example, skip the gym once and now you no longer can make it 3 times that week, well, why would I even bother going the rest of the days that week? So it's really easy just to skip the entire week. Or if you fail to actually lose enough weight, you may say, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to be able to make my goal of losing 20 pounds, so I might as well just eat whatever I want because there's no way for me to accomplish my goal anymore. It's too easy to give up if you have these types of goals. This is why I like having a more rules-based approach to setting your New Year's resolutions. This is actually an idea I got from Matt D'Avella. I'll link his entire video on the 2-day rule, but he has this 2-day rule when it comes to fitness. You can apply it to whatever you want and make the rule whatever you want it to be, but in his specific case, he says, I cannot skip 2 days in a row of going to the gym. So there's no rule on how many times a week he has to go, how long his workouts need to be, how intense they need to be, or anything like that. He just says, I cannot take 2 days off in a row not going to the gym. So it doesn't matter if he went 7 days in a row or if he goes every other day to the gym, it still accomplishes the rule. It doesn't matter if he worked out for 3 hours or for 5 minutes, he still accomplished the goal by actually just going and working out for any amount of time. So this is a very easy goal for you to accomplish because there's no set hard requirements other than I must not skip 2 days in a row. And it's super flexible because when you're really busy, you can have a short 15-minute workout every other day. But when you're less busy and you're more motivated, you can spend a full hour at the gym 5-6 days a week. And in all of those scenarios, you're able to meet your goal, but it has flexibility to meet you where you are in your life and where you are in your busyness. Now, the idea behind this rule is it allows you to change your mindset of who you are. If you're trying to lose weight, you're most likely trying to lose weight because you want to get in better shape and in better health. And you most likely look at other people that are in shape and in good health and you say, these people are fitness focused and they have the mindset of someone that is fit and healthy. And you don't have that mindset because you're unhealthy and unfit. And that's the mental model you have for yourself. But if you set yourself this rule and you say, I'm not going to skip the gym more than 2 days in a row, that is only a rule that someone that cares about fitness and health would have, which means as you follow that rule, even if you only go 5 minutes a day every other day, as long as you're following that rule, you're changing the mental model that you have of yourself from someone that's unfit and unhealthy to someone that cares about fitness and health. And changing that mental model of yourself is the most important part of actually changing who you are as a person. Because in the first example where you have a goal that you want to lose 20 pounds, that's just a goal that you have. It has nothing to do with who you are as a person. But by having a rule, that's almost an identity that you have for yourself because now you have the identity of someone that goes to the gym consistently without skipping, and that means that you're a health and fitness focused person. So the important thing about this rule is not how hard the rule is or how difficult the actual challenge inside the rule is to accomplish. It really just matters that you have a rule and that you abide by the rule, because by doing both of those things, it changes the mental model you have of yourself from someone who is not what you want to being someone who that is what you want to be. And that is the most important part, because once you have that mental model of I am a person that cares about health and fitness, going to the gym is super easy because that's what people that care about health and fitness do. That is why I think that this rule system is the most important part out of all the 3 things that I've mentioned, because it is what really allows you to change your mental model of yourself. Now, I know that this is a much different video than I normally do, but if you enjoyed this video and a little bit more of like the behind the scenes kind of thing, I would highly recommend checking out my newsletter. I'll leave a link in the description again where you can sign up for it, because I do a lot of content like this on there where I do additional technical content, for example, blog articles, as well as some more behind the scenes stuff on productivity and what I'm working on in general. So if you want to check that out, I'll link that newsletter in the description for you. Also, if you like this style of less technical video, more productivity or whatever you want to call it style video, let me know down in the comments below. I used to make more videos like this, but haven't done so in quite a while, so I'd be interested to see if it's something that you're interested in. With that said, thank you very much for watching and have a good day.